Well, good evening, everybody.
Hello, everyone out there in internet radio land.
Yes, welcome to another episode of Critique Corner with me, Daniel Parker.
And me, DB Fastbinder, also called Darth Bobcat.
Yes, and I forgot to mention the name of the show last week. So, uh,
No longer the artists formerly known as Tuesdays with Story.
yes. Want to thank everybody who's joined in and watched us so far. Obviously, doing our new format here and getting everything figured out. So, 3 episodes in, I think we're getting a little bit better. But of course, if you're new, if you haven't watched our new format yet, we always start off with the thing of the week, and then our things of the week, and then move on to the topics at hand. So, DB, let's go to your thing of the week.
So I think this is funny given our relative histories with things. I think for your thing of the week, the last 2 weeks has been an anime, and my thing of the week has not been an anime yet.
Yeah.
Actually, Jujutsu Kaisen was a movie, so I saw it in theaters, but the jury's out on how weebish that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my thing of the week was Ted Lasso because I recently bought myself an iPad, and one of the things that came with it was a 3-month subscription to Apple TV Plus, which is actually really convenient because they have some sort of upcoming dinosaur special. I think it's called Prehistoric Planet that I was considering signing up just to watch anyway. So,
Hmm.
hey, saved me a little bit of money.
Oh yeah.
But so Ted Lasso. It's basically a really just charming fish out of water story about an American football coach who gets hired to coach a struggling soccer team over in England. And, I just kept having the word charming pop into my head. And that's just really rare in streaming shows anymore.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It's yeah.
yeah. And, Jason Sudeikis here is just doing a great job with it because it's like you can tell that he's like projecting this front that's more how to put it. The character seems too happy, and he's good at portraying that the character seems too happy because he thinks that's what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, the, and the supporting cast is great. There's a few. I would say that there's a few kind of stereotypical characters, but I'm only 3 episodes in, so I expect them to start developing.
Oh yeah.
It almost feels like somebody watched Major League, the '80s movie about the baseball team where the owner's wife got the team in the divorce and was trying to run the team into the ground as part of a legal scheme, and said, "What if we developed that more?"
Mm-hmm.
Which really just hit me because I just watched Major League 2 months ago, so it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
seems oddly familiar.
Yes. Um. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's basically it. I don't have a lot of deep thoughts on it yet. Just besides, man, I don't know if Warner Brothers would be better off having not given the rights to Apple TV Plus because that would actually be a compelling reason to pick up HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
But the streaming wars make strange bedfellows.
Yes, indeed. Uh, yeah, and I wore my shirt. The shirt I wore today is, of course, for DB when he told
Hmm.
me that this was going to be his thing of the week. I've actually already watched I've watched the first 2 seasons already, and it's a fun show. I definitely recommend it if you have Apple TV, Apple TV Plus. It's basically what basically echo what you've been saying, that it's he's very charming, very affable guy. He's likable. That's part of it. Even though his mannerisms and his style of doing things are don't really mesh very well with the culture over there in England, and especially with the different players. But it's a fun show. And yeah, you're right. The characters do get a lot of development in
Hmm.
the later on the season, and in season 2 especially. But yeah, I recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say that my favorite I should say, like, I don't watch a lot of TV by myself anymore. Like, I've tried to watch a whole bunch of the DC streaming shows like Titans and yeah, Young Justice, and I just and Doom Patrol. It's like Doom Patrol was all right. That was almost gonna be my thing of the week, but I got 2 episodes and I was like, you're doing interesting things here, and you probably have the best live action cyborg they've ever done, because he's actually like heroic and not just intentionally trying not to be a victim, which is really nice.
Hmm.
Because cyborg guy in a horrible accident who becomes a cyborg and fights crime. Like they had a charming take on him too. That wears on my mind a lot. But I kind of hit the end of it. It's like, you know what? This is just going to keep getting weirder and weirder. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I. And it's like when the mystery is so weird, you almost it's like, okay, you can make up anything. Oh yeah, a donkey with a wormhole in its stomach. Yeah, sure, that makes complete sense. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things where it's so out there and creative that you can't help but admire it. But at the same time, it's like, am I really going to be satisfied if I watch another 20 episodes of this? Ted Lasso, though, I'm going to keep on keeping on with.
Yeah. Cool. All right. My thing of the week, my is another little, weeboo anime that not necessarily for all anime fans, but I got some enjoyment out of it. My Dress Up Darling.
I mean, the first episode did outchart the return of Attack on Titan, at least at first. So,
Well, uh, but but this show just wrapped up the dubbed, I should say. I watched it dubbed. Yes, I'm. Um, the dubbed first season just wrapped up last week, and finished it up, and it's a funny kind of funny quirky show. Definitely not what I was expecting. You've got the series revolves around Gojo, and I can't remember Mashima. I think is his first name, Mashima Gojo, and he's a Japanese high school guy, student, and he lives with his grandfather making Hina dolls. And they're these, the little Japanese dolls, and when he was a kid, and he's loved Hina dolls since he was a kid and wanted to learn how to make them, and he's been studying under his grandfather ever since. And he had a bad experience with a girl who, yes, that's a Hina doll.
yep.
Um, he's good with the thing with Gojo is he's very good with making the stitching the clothing,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not very good with painting the face. He's not as good painting the faces. And he had a bad experience when he was a kid because there was a girl that I guess he kind of liked, and when she saw that he made Hina dolls or he liked Hina dolls, she thought that was weird because dolls are for girls.
Yeah. Never mind that his grandfather, kept a roof over their head by making these dolls for girls.
Yes, yes. And so, but ever since then, he's always kept to himself. He doesn't have any friends. He goes to school and then leaves school and goes back home, works on his Hina dolls. But one faithful day at school, he has a little run-in with the other, series protagonist, the young lady you see in front of you, Marin Kitagawa, who she's kind of the popular girl, and but she knows who he is, and which kind of takes him aback a little. And then later on, as these stories go, one thing leads to another, and she finds out that he can sew, and she just thinks that's just the greatest thing ever
It's
because
so cool.
yes, that's so cool. And she thinks that's because she's trying to get into cosplay, and of course the costume that you see in front of you, that's the costume that she's trying to make, and she starts with the baseline of it. And basically what happens is, she gets him she Kitagawa gets Gojo to make her cosplay this costume for her, even though he's never made clothing for humans. He's, but
You,
he,
you just scale it up a bit.
yeah, just scale it up. Yeah. And so, of course, I would say that as the series progresses, it's a very, I would say very kind of sweet little love story with, the usual anime tropes that get thrown in there a lot that you see with, the awkward adult encounters and things, and Gojo being very, like a, your typical awkward male anime protagonist, just like, oh, this girl with big boobs, and she's in a bikini in my bedroom, and
And he actually gets to third base and doesn't notice.
yes. And, yeah, and so, but the other part of it too is that there's definitely a mutual attraction between the two of them that they're still trying to figure out. And oh, hey, Ninja Toe, good to see you. Yes, yes, the new anime waifu.
Lee, she's the person who does those anime covers, right? Or like the anime music covers.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, yes, Kitagawa is the waifu of 2022, and
Yes.
it's easy to understand. I mean, she's, not only is she good looking, but she's also very sweet and, very kind, and all that, all the things that, a lot of, men find attractive in a woman. So,
Yeah. Right. And I've been thinking about this one because I've seen a few episodes of it. Basically, my usual anime watching group was watching it, and then we've had a long period where not everybody could be there every week, so
mm,
we're way behind. But it seems like it's very much a show about just being yourself and that being okay.
yeah, I would say that's yeah, that's a very fair description of it, and particularly okay, yeah, she's yeah, and oh, the VTuber.
Who isn't a VTuber in 2022? Come on,
Yeah.
give us enough time and we'll rig it up.
Yes, yes. Uh, but uh, yeah, and there's another. And of course, there are two other characters in the show. Uh, one is a cosplayer, and she's the I don't know, I can't remember what the archetypal character is in anime, but she's the
Oh, Gyaru.
yeah, she's like she's real short, and
Oh, the short stack.
yes, yeah. Well, no, she's not short stack. It's funny because like it's her and her sister and her younger sister, and she's like the short one with the flat chest, uh, but then her younger sister is like Mariko.
Oh, which for people who haven't read Magpie Wizard or haven't seen the art, let's do this one.
Yes.
Yes.
So.
Some version of that print is going to eventually go on sale, by the way.
Oh, very nice. She's blonde, brunettes are superior. Yeah,
I tend to agree.
yeah, I do too. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you like, but yeah, but the sister who's like, the like that's like Mariko, she wants to cosplay as a boy, and then
Okay, so basically everybody kind of wants what they can't have. It's like,
right,
I
and
want to cosplay as a boy. It's like, okay, you're not going to cover those up. I'm sorry.
well, yeah, yeah. Gojo has to get very creative with
Okay,
how to cover
I
them
haven't
up.
gotten that far.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I recommend this show. It's fun, and it I would say too, it kind of restores my faith in humanity a little bit.
Yeah, it's a very pleasant show.
Yeah.
So now that we've built up your faith in humanity a little bit, let's go ahead and smash it down.
Yes.
So, first news item: the trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder has dropped.
Meh.
That's my overwhelming take on it too.
Yeah, it didn't excite me. It didn't thrill me. It just I know it's only a 1 minute teaser, but it's I know, and they were supposed to, obviously the big reveal, which isn't really a big reveal because we've known it was coming, was Jane Foster Thor.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the thing we've basically known about since Marvel tried it in the comics?
Yes. And since they announced it back in like 2018, 2019, something like that.
When you really get down to it, the one character that they didn't kill off or remove from Avengers Endgame is the one that you probably would have been fine if he died heroically in the fight or something like that. Because they've never known what to do with Thor in these movies.
No, they really had. I would say, I'd say the first one, the first Thor, I thought did the best with his character.
Right.
You know,
Second,
cause yeah,
second one I remember not minding, but also it's like, so I was a little bit surprised. People were like, "Man, that movie sucked. That's the worst Marvel movie." It's like Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel still exist.
yes, yeah. Yeah. I thought the second Thor was good. You know, not great. I think a lot of the complaints about that was with the villain being very one dimensional, but that's pretty
Yeah.
much every Marvel movie we've had.
Also, that's one more villain than this teaser trailer had.
That's true. Yeah.
That that
I
was
don't.
that's what kind of surprised me was that it's like, okay, I mean, we see him with the Guardians of the Galaxy in front of some sort of um, in front of some sort of army with the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's like, what are they fighting? Like what?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Thor has to find himself. You've been finding yourself every movie. First movie, you found yourself. You're good. You have found yourself.
Yes.
Third movie, you lost Asgard. Great, you've got a new Asgard, and then they yanked that out from under him and gave Valkyrie the kingship because that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The first two are even with the demonic Teletubbies.
Yeah. So it's just like, and Jane Foster Thor doesn't bring the boys to the yard. It's sold pretty all right in the comics, but that's because they had like a real mystery going there.
Hmm.
That was actually like the one SJW Marvel. Notice the huge air quotes.
Hmm.
I guess I'll call it the official title, which was All New, All Different. That was the one All New, All Different title that didn't actually suffer in sales when they replaced the main character too much.
Hmm. Yeah, and well, yeah, and like you said, because for a while nobody knew who it was. You know, it was shrouded in mystery, and then you find out it's Jane Foster. Oh, okay.
You mean the one woman besides Sif it could have been?
Yes. Actually, it actually would make more sense if it was Sif
Well,
than Jane
they'd
Foster.
already done a thing where Sif was possessed by Loki and was like Lady Loki for a while. So
Oh,
they probably didn't want to repeat themselves that quickly.
ah, yeah. Boy, you talk about a character that they really have done dirty in the MCU, and that's Sif.
Yeah, she seemed like she was going to be important, but nope.
Nope. Yeah.
I guess she got to be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's like an accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem was the actress who plays her was on a TV show for a few
Okay.
years. So,
Yeah, honestly, probably better off.
yeah, probably. But yeah, this movie, you know, it just doesn't really look that appealing to me. I don't think I will be. It's coming out in the summer, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I honestly couldn't be arsed to check.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, because I'm gonna be honest. Other than Spider-Man, I've kind of checked out of the MCU.
Yeah, like Doctor Strange might be interesting, but that's going to be a firm wait for Blu-ray or whatever, or
Yeah,
Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever it's going to be on.
yeah, because well, one of the things about that movie was that isn't it? It's supposed to be like 3 hours, isn't it?
Oh my God, really?
I think so. Yeah, I read somewhere that it was pushing 3 hours, and I'm like, I cannot sit through a 3 hour Doctor Strange movie.
There are characters I would sit through a 3-hour movie for. Like I might go see Batman at some point or wait for
Yeah,
HBO Max.
it's on HBO Max.
Oh, has it launched there? I knew it was dropping soon. I hadn't realized it had already gotten there.
Yeah, it dropped on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's some foreshadowing for later comments.
Yes. Uh, but yeah. Speaking of like Doctor Strange too, like I know. Yeah. So America Chavez is going to be in that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We basically know it's going to be a better version of America Chavez than from the Marvel comics from 5 years ago.
Hmm.
It'd have to be. Like they would be stupid to try to adapt that in any sort of real way.
Yeah. Yeah, because well, and I have to confess, I don't really know much about her character other than she's a lesbian and Hispanic. Like that's all I
There,
know about her.
Comics by Perch did an interesting video where he basically made the argument that there have been three distinct versions of the character over time.
Hmm.
And in his video where he was talking about, oh, I think the character has a lot of potential. It's like, and Richard Meyer zeroed in on this on his commentary video about it or reaction video to it, where it's like, you basically say you like the idea of a character like this.
Hmm.
You couldn't point to anything that was actually good about the character herself.
Yeah. Yeah, but hopefully hopefully she is better written in the movie than she is in the
Yeah,
comics. Yeah,
as long as it isn't Gabby Rivera, you're probably in good shape.
yeah. Well, I don't know who wrote the movie, but I know Sam Raimi directed it, so it's
So that's at least promising.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so speaking of comic books, and
Speaking of things underperforming,
yes,
so ba, 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 ba,
we're doing it live.
we're doing it live. Okay, so Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. That's it. That's right.
Dumbledore.
Sorry, I almost fell asleep mid sentence there. Uh, it's bombing, folks. Oh man,
Yeah,
it almost got beat out by Sonic the Hedgehog second weekend. Which, if you told me I live in a world where Sonic the Hedgehog was outperforming a Harry Potter movie.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's and there could be a number of obviously a number of reasons why it's underperforming, but yes, woohoo, Sonic.
Heck, Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, this is not apples to apples, but Jujutsu Kaisen in its whole run has nearly matched the opening weekend of a Harry Potter movie.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 weeks. I mean, for a niche anime movie
Yeah, that's
in the United States.
yeah. Jeez. Oh yeah.
You might look at this and go, "Oh, it's doing good internationally." Internationally, it's made 151 million dollars or 150 million dollars so far, but it's been out for 2 weekends in England and other places.
Hmm.
So this is not a decent international opening weekend. This is 2 full weekends
Oh.
coming
Yeah.
up on 3 now.
Yeah,
So
those numbers are not good.
yeah, to paraphrase Strongbed, those are not good numbers. Those are small numbers.
Yes.
Uh, uh, and these are not cheap movies to make. $200 million is more than twice of what it cost to make that Sonic movie.
200 million for this movie?
Yeah,
Good lord. And well, yeah, and then you of course uh, you have to double it with the marketing.
yeah, it's like it's like the usual equation that I see people like Odin's movie blog doing it live. It's like you take the initial budget, and it's like you could try to argue, okay, so they probably had to pay some interest and some extra stuff because the movie was delayed. So you borrow money to make your movie. So every
Mhm.
month the movie is delayed costs you.
Right.
Then you add at least like half the movie's budget again to account for advertising, which this could be low too.
Hmm.
And then if you average together all of the markets in the world, you could make about 60% on what you do. So if you divide by 0.6, you're looking at 500 million international box office to break even. And it's actually worse than that because these movies, these Fantastic Beast movies, they make their money internationally, and uh, American movie theaters are spoiled compared to or excuse me, are not spoiled. They're taken advantage of compared to their international counterparts.
Hmm.
So, so if most of your money is coming from overseas, you're making less on each dollar. So it's
Yeah, 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 that's why, when if you're a major Hollywood production, you can't really solely rely on the foreign markets. Like you have to, it's sort of like supplementary income basically. Like you get, your main target, your main audience is United States. That's where the bulk of your money is going to be made.
yep. And not to discount the international market, but you just get more out of tickets sold in the U.S.
Yes, and and of course, gonna be honest, I have not seen any of the Fantastic Beasts movie. I think I mentioned this before. Nor do I have any desire to watch any of the Fantastic Beasts movie.
I've heard the first one was interesting-ish,
Hmm.
but I'm also not the world's biggest Harry Potter fan. So
Yeah, I was done with Harry Potter after the last movie. Like I
yeah.
just.
Meanwhile, Sonic the Hedgehog, going by that equation I just did, it's already profitable after its second weekend.
Hmm.
So everything else from here is gravy. And Morbius is completely collapsed.
Yeah.
This is 3 weekends here. Let's you got to bring up that non-apples to apples comparison of with Jujutsu Kaisen. I cannot believe that it is half as popular as a Spider-Man related movie
Hmm.
with
Yes.
playing on way fewer theaters.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's the movie industry is always very interesting to follow, and it's you know sometimes some things work and sometimes they don't, and a vampire character from from Spider-Man, you know mm,
Bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it works out.
yeah, not too well apparently. Yeah.
Nope. I can't wait to not watch that Craven the Hunter movie they're working on.
Yes.
And while it would be unfair to call, I'd say there are like two scandals that some people with some sort of what do you call it, that bias where you a confirmation bias are going to say,
Mhm.
oh, that hurt the movie. One was, oh, J.K. Rowling saying things on Twitter. The other
Mhm.
one, as a segue, is our good friend Ezra Miller. I did not expect to become an Ezra Miller commentary channel, but here we are.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either, but yeah, that's but they keep getting into trouble, and
Yeah, uh, and it's it's MSN had this handy summary of Ezra Miller controversy. It's like, okay, got pulled over with some weed in their pocket in 2011. You're
mm,
younger. That's
youthful indiscretion.
yep.
Yeah.
2020. Excuse me, they were seen choking a woman uh, in Iceland. Uh, uh, Miller was not arrested, but was removed from the bar by staff, according to Variety. So that takes out the theory I'd heard float around that it was like, oh, it was like weird role play or something. Like, you don't remove people for weird role play.
No.
Or it's like if she said, no, it's fine, I asked for it. Like, then you're not going to remove someone from a bar for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now Ezra, in a what must just be like the worst Hawaiian vacation ever, has been arrested 10 times since
God.
March. I didn't realize it was that bad.
I didn't either. I thought it was just the two.
Apparently, there's been a lot of things that have not been have been kept a little bit out of the industry.
Yes.
And here's a meme that Danielle said before. Tell me the truth. I'm ready to hear it. While in Hawaii, you're more likely to be attacked by Ezra Miller than by a shark.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
10 times.
10 times apparently.
Yes.
Or I should say, not arrested 10 times. The police have been called to deal with Ezra on 10 separate occasions,
Ah.
that,
Okay.
which is still a lot.
That's still a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
This time, Ezra threw a chair at someone's head and made a gash. She did not press charges, which is probably why Ezra is not in jail.
Hmm. Yeah. This is it just me, or does Ezra Miller seem to have a problem with women?
You're not the first person I've heard say that. It's, I don't know if it's the perception that it's an easier target. I
Mm,
don't know if it's, I don't know, be some sort of jealousy or something, since Ezra does like to dress in women's clothing and behave femininely.
yeah.
But
Well,
you
and
know,
what's
it's funny. It's like it's not even like Ezra's a great actor who is worth putting up with for the weird behavior.
no. It's the only reason, and Midnight's Edge pointed this out. The only reason Ezra Miller is being that they're putting up with Ezra Miller, putting up with them, is they are stunning and brave.
Yeah, it does. I don't like to go to the politics answer, but it seems to me that's the politics answer.
Yeah, it's just yeah, and I kind of agree with you because it's I don't like doing it either, but I mean I can't find any other explanation for it. I mean and like you said, they're not that good of an actor. They're okay. Again, I mentioned this before. Did not really care for their portrayal of the Flash.
I've met one person who thought they were okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody out there really likes them, but I have yet to meet them.
yeah, yeah. I think what will happen at what's going to happen at probably at some point is uh, Ezra will probably check into rehab, and I would probably venture a guess as to they're probably not going. I know it's a year from now, but I
Mhm.
can't imagine they'll do a whole lot of promotion for the Flash.
Right. I think a lot of people would be very happy if they just green screened in the guy from the Flash TV show at this point, but apparently it's just too much filmed to make that happen.
Yeah. Of course, they could always, Warner Brothers, they could always, do a reshoot of an ending and, take Ezra out completely and put someone else in.
Well, I think they have some rights to some Doctor Who stuff. I think the Daleks showed up in the Lego Batman movie. I think they could just like, oh, the Flash was a Time Lord the whole time, and oh, he got stabbed at the end of the movie, and oh, he's regenerated into a new form.
Yes. Well, I mean, with the whole multiverse stuff happening, I mean,
Yep.
anything is possible at this point. Um, but I will say the one thing I will say about Ezra is they need help.
Yes. They need help before other people need help to deal with them.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It totally. Ezra is a menace.
Somebody could have died with that chair being thrown.
Yes. Yeah. And then you got a whole other mess on your hands at that point.
Yeah, at that
Now
point, they
you got
probably just shelved the movie regardless.
yeah. They'll probably do with the Flash what they've done with Alec Baldwin's Western movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, thoughts and prayers to Ezra.
Hmm.
Check into rehab. Maybe find Jesus. I don't know. It couldn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And clearly, there's some sort of simmering anger problems.
Yes. Uh, yeah. Um, so moving on to Netflix.
Netflix is no good, very bad year.
Hmm.
Because so I do a little bit of stock trading on the side. I'm extremely boring with it. It's like, oh, other people are like, oh, game stock and AMC and meme stocks and shoot it to the moon, and we can stay stupid longer than they can stay solvent and all this stuff. I'm like, more Kimberly Clark, the people who make Kleenex, please.
Yeah.
Oh, their stock went down a little bit. I'll lower my dollar cost average and get those sweet fat dividends. Whoa, 3.75%. I have to be careful about who I talk about this with because I know I can be extremely boring with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so Netflix has announced that for the first time in a decade. Now they've had some quarters where they got less new subscribers than they expected.
Mm.
Uh, they've underperformed at times. But it has been 10 years since they actually had a net drop in subscribers for a quarter, from what I've heard.
Mhm.
Which you might go, what? They lost 200,000 subscribers. They've got 220 million. That is literally, actually, that's 0.1%, if I recalling that right. 200 million. Yeah, less than 0.1%. It's
Yeah.
like, what's the big deal? It's a tiny thing. I was like, no, you misunderstand. The whole story of these internet stocks and websites is that sure, they don't make a lot of money compared to conventional industries now, but when they hit profitability, hoo boy.
Yeah.
And if you look at Netflix for the year, at some point in November, they peaked at around 700 or so,
Yeah.
600s to 700s. And then they had a big hit when Vladimir Putin decided to annex Ukraine.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that was a big shock. A lot of stocks went down then. It's not it's bad percentage wise, but it's not unreasonable. And then you go, wait, that was January. If you bought a Netflix stock on April 1st, it's like actually I think April 1st, like 373, that's down half from the summer. Boy, that's an excellent deal. And then 3 weeks later, 218.
Ooh.
So you lost half your shirt in less than a month.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a good day or not a good year for Netflix.
No, I
It's
mean, you had cuties, you had. It seems like the only time I hear about Netflix shows besides Squid Games when people are pissed off at them.
yeah. Well, and the thing about Netflix is, one to 2% of their exclusive content, like the stuff that they produce,
Hmm.
I would say 1 to 2% of it is worthwhile. It's worth watching. It's good. The rest of it is just trash.
Content in the worst sense of it.
Yes. Yeah. It's you go and watch some of those some of their movies. You might as well watch something produced by sci-fi.
Yeah,
It's that quality. It's that level of quality to it.
and the sad thing is that Netflix is the one streaming service that really makes money.
Mm.
Well, besides Discovery, Discovery up until they bought Warner Brothers makes money,
Hmm.
but like, and you might go, now here's a measure that Daniel didn't recognize before, and so I was like, oh, I thought this is common knowledge. No, DB, you're a weird stock nerd. Shut up. Was I believe what the expression on Daniel's face said when I was asking him about this earlier. He's polite though, so he didn't actually say that.
Yeah.
So this rating here, price to earnings, that's basically for every dollar of profit that a company makes, how much does the stock cost?
Hmm.
And if you go on that basis, Netflix is actually a really reasonable stock right now if you believe that it's going to bounce back,
Hmm.
because that's basically $20. But this earnings here is for every dollar they make, you're spending $20 to buy the stock.
Hmm.
That if you look at, say, our buddies at Microsoft who have a much bigger business, being a $2 trillion company, it's cheaper than Microsoft. It's a bit more expensive than if you're boring and decide to just rely on the fact that people will buy Campbell's soup until the sun burns out, which is at 15.
Hmm.
And you look at Disney. Disney also had a very bad year stock wise because but they're also much more expensive because Disney Plus is a huge money pit at this point.
Yes.
And if we look at Disney's year, from last year, they're down from 180 to 120. So not nearly as bad of a shellacking as Netflix has had over the same time period, but still not great. That's putting $1 in and having 67 cents left.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like having a streaming service is, it's not going to be the cash cow that you think it is, you know. And I would say part of Netflix's in big part of Netflix's problem is they keep raising their premiums. They keep raising their monthly subscriptions.
Right. You almost
Yeah.
have to wonder if they've hit the stage where everybody in the world who wants to pay for Netflix is currently paying for Netflix.
Yes. And everyone, and anyone who isn't is like, I'm not paying $15 a month for this.
Yeah. I know a friend of mine who decided to lower his. He's like, well, I only ever use it on the one screen anyway. I've been paying for the high resolution, but screw that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and I would say too, like if Netflix was smart, and I haven't seen any evidence to the contrary, they would be a little more just have a little more variety in terms of the different tiers that they offer in their subscriptions. I mean, if yeah, like say because like the one like what you just mentioned, that's the one I have, and I think yeah, high def with like 3 screens. I only have one TV.
Mhm.
Like, you know,
Now, are you one of those dirty password sharers that Netflix is trying to crack down on?
no,
Uh, well, okay then.
but
So you're one of the
I
rare.
can be if you want.
You're one of the rare good ones.
Yeah,
That's the other thing is that they have so many people who share the account around because a lot of people aren't paying $15; they're paying $5 to their
mm,
friend. Like, oh, I'll get you a gift card every so often and to cover a month.
yeah,
Uh, and so it's, I mean, they're at least they're doing better than CNN Plus. Rare, rare bit
yeah,
of political Schadenfreude, but I don't think anybody likes CNN. What's my evidence? They just spent $300 million rolling out CNN Plus and shut it down 3 weeks later.
yeah, yeah. I don't even know what they were offering on that.
Um, they got somebody from Fox News to do his own show. I think it was Wallace.
Wallace, yeah,
Um, they had some behind the scenes stuff. I think now, and you might go, oh, who would want a news streaming service? Apparently, if the Fox News one is ridiculously popular.
really. Hmm.
Yeah, like they've had it since 2018. It's making them lots of money. Daily Wire, they have a big one too. So it's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's not like I don't know what Loud with Crowder is like these days because I haven't seen him for a long time.
yeah.
But you know that the Mug Club is out there,
Yeah, and you got Glenn Beck, and Glenn Beck was actually the first one to do it.
right? So, I mean, you can make politics work. You just gotta actually have a product that people want.
Yeah, and apparently CNN. Nobody wanted CNN. I mean,
Which so apparently another interesting thing to bring it back more towards entertainment is that Zaslav, the new head of Warner Brothers, wants to bring it all under one streaming service to rule them all, which is just logic. Because I don't want to pay, I don't want to pay $6 for CNN Plus and $5 for Discovery and 15 for HBO Max. Even if it was like $20, that like okay, so I get all of this stuff for $20 and it's just one service. I don't have to watch ads. Okay, that seems reasonable as long as there's enough stuff I want to watch.
yeah,
Plus, everybody's starting to do cheaper tier services where they have ads, which is like, okay, that's also a reasonable option.
yeah. It's obviously, yeah, it's adapting and understanding the market, a lot better, which Netflix doesn't seem to be able to do.
The weird thing with Netflix is that you know how I mean, you've worked for corporate America. You know how like there are things where you just get into like tribal knowledge. Oh, this is the way it's done.
Hmm.
Uh, like at your company, it's like, oh, everybody knows that, oh, there's this one process that's kind of inefficient or stupid, but we always do, it's stupid and inefficient, but we always do it. We always did it this way, and gosh darn it, it's just the way it's done. I don't. It doesn't matter that it costs us $15 to mail an envelope with uh, I don't know, with this perk to these customers, and we only make $13. That's part of the prestige of the company, is that we do this thing. So
Hmm.
we'll keep on doing it. And then some new person comes and says, well, nobody cares about this. Discontinue it. And suddenly the stock price jumps because you've saved a huge amount of money. Uh,
Yeah.
Netflix's stupidity is that they always want to drop the entire show at once,
Yes.
which,
And
which basically means that the show has to find its audience immediately.
mhm. and uh, and of course, what ends up happening is, the new season of Stranger Things drops,
Mhm.
and everybody, nobody had that. People who didn't cancel their Netflix subscription, they'll subscribe to Netflix for 1 month and then cancel
Mhm.
it after the month because they've already, they watched Stranger Things season 4, and yeah,
That's what I wanted.
yeah. Um, yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like the whole binge watching thing. That's they create. Well, they didn't create it. I mean, binge watching started like in the mid 2000s with DVD box sets,
Mhm.
um, but
They
Netflix,
perfected it.
but yeah, Netflix perfected it, and then but now it's kind of gotten to the point where binge watching isn't as profitable as it used to be. And so, it, you probably have to be more like Disney Plus or Hulu or,
Mhm.
um, I would say even Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime kind of,
Th-
they'll
Yeah,
mix
they,
it
they
up a little bit.
waffle which one they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but Paramount Plus, they do weekly. Pretty much a lot of streaming services now do weekly, and I think that's probably a better way of going about it if you want to keep making money and keep subscribers around. And and if you're Netflix, you just say, no, we're just going to keep it this way, and darn it,
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you think about it. So I want you to think about your own schedule as an employed adult. It's like, oh, most of my day is busy. I might have 8 hours to watch it. Oh, I have this cliffhanger, and there's the next episode right there. Uh, if it's right, I can binge it, but I don't have time to binge it. I guess I won't watch this at all then.
hmm
Where psychologically, it's like, okay, it drops on Thursday at 5 p.m. I'll watch it at Thursday at, I might watch it Saturday at 4 p.m. But it's like there's enough content that I can meaningfully work it into my week.
yes, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's going back to the old days of you know waiting weekly for the next episode of a show.
Which honestly is better in my opinion, because sure, it's more convenient to just binge watch it, but it's also it's kind of more lonely as an experience goes,
Hmm.
because it's like oh, I want to talk about this TV show I'm watching at work. Oh, well, I watched the whole thing last night. Have you watched any yet? No. Oh, then I'll wait for you to watch it. 3 months later, hey, I finished watching this show. Oh, I'm watching Squid Game now.
Yeah,
It kind of takes out the whole shared experience aspect.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and and me personally, like I've never really been one for binging. Like, I mean, if a show drops and there are all the episodes there, I might watch like at most 2 episodes in a day, maybe 3, and then I just kind of like parcel it out after a while because I don't, you know, information overload.
Yeah, like say Ted Lasso. I enjoyed Ted Lasso. I watched 2 episodes. Then I watched an episode after work today to get it to 3 episodes for my thing of the week.
Hmm.
That seems like a reasonable watching speed. I think each season is like what, 10 episodes?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, 10 to 12, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'd sat down and watched 20 to 25 episodes of Ted Lasso, that would have taken so much out of my week.
Hmm. Yeah. It's, Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Netflix going forward, how they
Yeah,
adapt, and if they
yeah,
adapt.
yeah. Who knows? They might be the new blockbuster.
Ooh.
And,
A fun fact, uh, Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix.
oh man, that mm, it's I quote Comics Perch a lot, but that's because he has like a varied and interesting opinion on things because he's been in tech and also but also run a comic book shop. So he's hitting culture stuff from a lot of different directions.
Hmm.
He was talking about how there was a PowerPoint presentation when Netflix was coming out that Blockbuster didn't see the threat of Netflix being the convenience of having DVDs shipped to you or streaming from home. Blockbuster said they had convinced themselves, oh, going to the store and renting a movie in person is such a part of the movie experience that the thing we have to worry about with Netflix is what if Netflix buys Hollywood videos and suddenly has a presence to compete with us there too? Like, boy.
Oof.
And now Netflix is kind of getting hit themselves.
Hmm.
And you know who else is really suffering because of this, or is really going to suffer about this? Like this is going to be a big domino effect
Hmm.
because, like, is Netflix making less money? Well, no, they're still profitable, but their whole stock and everything built around them is built on growth, 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 growth. If they've hit their ceiling, then a lot of people whose whole business model was we'll start a small comic book company and we'll get the rights to our small unpopular comics bought up by Netflix or Hulu or whatever because everybody's looking for content.
Uh, yeah.
Like I greatly enjoyed the Resident Alien comic book, but my overwhelming thought as I read this was this would be really easy to turn into a Netflix show.
Hmm.
Amusingly, the show they made for Sci-Fi is actually more action oriented than the comic. Like they made it harder on themselves by making it kind of a goofy action show.
Jesus. Oh boy.
Like the comic is mostly mysteries and standing around expositing, which makes it sound awful, but it's very well done. It's just amusing. It's just
Yeah. Well, I think we've exhausted this topic.
yes, the it's no longer paying dividends.
Yes.
All right.
Right. Okay.
Well, that's our regular topics.
Yes.
So I have a game that you can all play at home.
Mm.
Uh, So, as everybody knows, isekai light novel titles have gotten completely ridiculous and out of control in the last 10 years.
Yes.
There are literally titles that are, I've seen titles that are 100 words long.
Oh God.
Uh, I don't know if it's 100 words when you translate it to English or ones. I just remember it was exceptionally long and ridiculous, and that's why it's like say Kono Subarashi something something. Okay, it's like God's. I got to look this up 1 second because everybody just calls it Konosuba.
Right. But yeah, that's not the full title.
It's here, God's blessing on this wonderful world, and that's yeah, that's a pretty concise title compared to some of these.
Hmm.
So uh, we're gonna play Two Truths and a Lie.
Yeah.
Can you and Daniel identify which of these titles I made up out of nothing, and which one is a real isekai?
Okay.
All right, first one. The hero and his elf bride open a pizza parlor in another world.
Okay.
The hero and his elf bride open a pizza parlor in another world. Number two, they think I am the world's strongest, but my only powers are special effects. They think I am the world's strongest, but my only powers are special effects.
Okay.
I'm a behemoth, an S ranked monster, but mistaken for a cat, I live as an elf girl's pet. I'm a behemoth, an S ranked monster, but mistaken for a cat, I live as an elf girl's pet.
Oh, hmm. I'm gonna say, uh, I'm gonna say the pizza parlor one is real, and then the other two are fake.
Oh, it's the other way around. It's one is made up, two are real.
Oh, one's made up, two are real. Okay, so the pizza parlor one's real, and then uh, I'm gonna say the second one with the special. My power is only special effects.
Okay, so your guess is the pizza one is real,
And
and
this,
so is the second one about the powers being special effects.
yes.
Uh, Holy Ninja Toe is guessing that the pizza one is fake.
Okay.
The answer is I made up. They think I am the world's strongest, but my only powers are special effects. But you got it half right.
I got half right.
I,
Yeah.
I picked the pizza one, which I've actually read. It's not bad. It's just not great.
Hmm.
It's very light, but ironic for a story about pizza to be light and fluffy. But
Yeah.
no, the behemoth one. One second, because every title for every picture I've seen for this thing, because Amazon keeps thinking I want to read it for some reason. Go away. I'm trying to get to the picture. Every cover is just ridiculously fan servicey. Yeah, that one will do.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
And but yeah, this one sounds fake because it's bad grammar.
Yes.
Although I guess that makes it more plausible that it was written in Japanese originally. So
Yeah. Yeah. That didn't quite translate.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, Holy Ninja Toe. You're right. The second one did sound fun. Not, I'm totally not stealth testing out titles to see what people would find interesting. No, books. No, absolutely not. No.
No guerrilla marketing here.
Uh, well, thanks for playing. We'll try things like this. Maybe next time I will do two truths and a lie, where like maybe next time we'll just make it where I'll reverse it and only one is real.
Okay.
Let's see, what did Holy Ninja Toe say? We literally have a reverse isekai, but a Chinese war strategist gets transported to modern day Japan and becomes the manager of an upcoming idol. Like, okay, I don't know why the Japanese are so good at this. Like, as creators, I remember there was some. So there's this YouTube channel I like. I like it so much I have to look up the name of it. One second. I have too many. I have too many YouTube channels I'm subscribed to. Clearly, it's called me Call Me Chato, where he's a former TV executive, and so one of his things he does is he goes through old issues of TV Guide and talks about some of the shows that made it and didn't, just to give me an idea. Like, what was 1978 like? What was 1979 like? And one of them was called like Red Apple, which is about a woman who who lives in the Dust Bowl in the Depression and makes a fake family, including a blind man and an old man. And I forget why she's making a fake family. I think it's so that people don't think she's weird when she moves to a new town.
uh,
And she's running an inn. And Chato in the video said that I guess the premise was too weird. To which I replied, I feel like the Japanese could make that work as an anime. And his reply was, yeah, you're right. They are good at that type of thing.
yeah, Isekai, where a guy uses special effects to become world's strongest, has so many opportunities for. Uh, uh,
I mean, it is a show about idols. Like the thing is, if you have a show about idol performers and you don't have good music, what are you doing?
yeah, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've hit the hour mark here. Before we go, does anyone have any questions for us?
Yes. And while you're thinking of your questions, remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell button, all that other good stuff.
Yes, all that. Yes, all that good stuff. Trying to do between Jeopardy and Final Fantasy.
I was noticing that was like Jeopardy with a little bit more of a swing to it.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, because Final Fantasy was
Going once.
going twice.
Question
All right.
time is over.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Real quick announcement. No show next week. I've got family coming to town, and I'm going to be doing some entertaining there. So, but we will be back 2 weeks from now. So, Ninja Toe's got a question here.
Yeah, let's give this a shot.
Yeah. How many advantages the villain of a story can get before you've reached to an absurdity?
I think that you can give the villain a lot of advantages. You just kind of have to craft it to match your hero. It's like
Yeah.
like say Professor Moriarty is a very intelligent man who could get away with many evil activities. If you put him up against Superman, he'll super hearing and X-ray vision his way through the whole problem
Yes.
casually. Now, that's a hero's advantage over a villain, but the same premise would go. Sherlock Holmes versus Zod from Superman is going to be a very short fight.
Yeah.
Because Zod, I've proven that you're the one who killed Jor-El and doomed your planet. And he proceeds to use his laser vision to just melt Dr. Holmes.
Sherlock.
Sherlock. Why did I say Doctor? Sherlock. Honorary doctorate in my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I would say that too. Yeah, if you just I would say if you're just constantly creating one ups all of the time, then it just kind of gets like then that's when it starts getting absurd. It's kind of like with Dragon Ball, like, how many planets can we blow up?
Yeah, we've been able to destroy a planet for a very long time, and that's not impressive anymore.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that, yeah, if it's just kind of like if it's to the point where both the hero and the villain are just insanely powerful and it's just not fun to watch anymore, then yeah.
Right. Now if you think you have that crazy spark of creativity where you can make an absurdly powerful person fun to read, go for it. Because like there's a certain amount of fun in that kind of Silver Age Superman story. Which like, are you worried that Superman might lose? No, but it's going to be really fun to watch him mess with Lois and Jimmy.
Yes.
I'm just along for the ride. I don't care if it's plausible.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes a very careful writer to make that work.
And I can tell you right now, Bendis ain't one of them.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Overpowered villains' biggest pet peeve. Want to be invested in battles where both sides. Yes. Yeah. Those are the best ones. But yeah. Thanks, Ninja Toe, for that question, and again, thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate it.
Might be the first question we've had for a long time. So
I think it is
very much appreciated.
Yes. Yeah. Again, see you in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good night.